Hey, what's going on YouTube? Brian here with another Windows 11 video for you. So this one's going to be more in depth and kind of go over what I've noticed about it. I've been test driving it, playing around with it for a little while, and want to go ahead and get a little more hands-on if you get my drift. If you wouldn't mind, give a like, subscribe. Kind of would appreciate it for to help the channel. If you want to, give comments, any ways I can improve. You like it, don't like it, please tell me. Alright, so this is Windows 11. When you first log in, it doesn't look anything spectacular under the hood. I think it's still basically Windows 10, but they have made some improvements on like some of the graphics. Most notable is they moved the start bar to be more center. It looks more like a GNOME shell, honestly, if you're in from a Unix, Linux background or Mac. I don't know why they did that, but it's okay, I guess. So if you right click on the start bar, you still have your power options, what your power users would do typically, which is definitely helpful. If you actually click on it, it brings up this menu. So this is the same thing as like when you're in Windows 10 and it has a bunch of suggested stuff that it'll install through the store. Some things are actually installed like photos, settings, what have you. Other things like Spotify it's going to install it through the Microsoft Store or Microsoft Windows Store for you. Like I said, overall, it's not terrible for the start. If you do notice, if you click up here on the all apps, they're all the apps itself. They're not nested in folders such as like they are on Windows 10 and previous versions of Windows. Not terrible. Obviously, you can still search for what you're looking for. If you hit the Windows key, it'll still pull it up the same way. They also have a search option here. So like if you're trying to search online for something, you can also do that. Or if you've done recent searches like I've done here, which is actually pretty responsive for if you're looking for just anything. So it'll, as you can see, it's pretty responsive compared to previous versions of their search. I don't know if it's still using Cortana on the back end. Honestly, they're kind of limited on the information they give out on that from what I've seen. Overall, it's not terrible. Multiple desktops. You got a desktop icon right here for setting up your multiple desktops. Some people use it. I personally haven't yet. Widgets. If you sign in, it'll give you like your clock. It'll give you sports, but it all looks like it's all coming from Microsoft. I haven't signed in. This is on a local account. It's not using a Microsoft account. So obviously they have their chat program and Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge is the more up-to-date version of it, obviously. I don't think they have Internet Explorer actually baked into this one, though, as they did in previous versions. As you can see, they changed some of the graphics on here. Like I said, if you look at like GNOME, it looks like they just copied that, but whatever, it's their thing. The nice part is that it is a little more appealing to the eye. As you can tell up here at the start, at the top, it doesn't have the ribbon style like previous versions of Windows used to, but you can still type in to access like network shares and stuff, which is helpful. The one thing I can say I don't like, but it's probably just a preference of mine, if you have folders and you have stuff in it, like this folder has a text file in it, if you're looking right here, you can't just quickly glance and see there's stuff in there. Or if you can, it should be like a little tiny sliver, but you have to be right up on top of the screen to see it. Not the end of the world for it, but it's just one of the things you do get used to. I did notice that they also changed the right-click menu. So this is their new menu. They do have the new in Windows Terminal, so it takes you directly to there. It's extremely helpful if you're trying to figure out some stuff inside the terminal environment for it. So if you have like WinRAR or extracting tools or whatever, it's probably not going to show up here. You'll have to click on this show more options, and then it gives you the traditional menu here. So I'm assuming that's where if you have WinRAR or other programs like that, it would show up as well. As far as that terminal program, that was one thing I do really like that they finally did. You can have multiple tabs now and multiple types of terminals. So if I have a PowerShell, I have my Cloud Shell, If I was running the Linux subsystem, I could probably have a bash shell setting all right here, and being able to access this all in one spot would be extremely helpful, um, especially for an administrator that needs to be able to move stuff around and doesn't like a cluttered desktop or cluttered environment. Close all. It's nice that they even give you a warning on that one, because that always sucks when you close it. As far as Microsoft Edge, it's the same old Edge that we've had in Windows 10. It works just fine for going and downloading Google Chrome or whatever else. Everybody has their preference when it comes to web browsers, so your mileage may vary on there. So if we go ahead and look into the settings, so this is the settings for the actual OS now. I like it. It's a little more clean. You can kind of find what you're looking for. It kind of reminds me, like I said, of GNOME. When you go in and look at GNOME, when you find what you're looking directly for. As far as the different accounts and types they have, different sign-in options, obviously, your accounts, backups, if you're adding it to a domain environment. I do like this kiosk feature. So if you're putting it in a kiosk environment or public facing, and you only want to only allow people to access your site or whatever, or you have a special application, you can have it run it there. I have not tried doing any gaming on this one because this is running on a virtual machine. Actually, let me show you guys the specs that I have it set on currently. So this is the specs that's currently running on. Nothing crazy. I do like this domain join, because for those of us that are older, this is what we're traditionally used to come in here and just add it to the domain and change the name on it. Extremely convenient, and it takes you just directly there. The one other area is that I was noticing that's kind of different is if you're trying to do notifications, if you click on the clock, that's where your notifications is. In order to access the, I don't know what they're technically called, but the quick buttons where you go to access, like, turn on night mode, or that's if you actually click on your network adapter. So like, yeah, your night light and focus assist and accessibility and stuff like that. That's where that actually is, where they moved it to. Why they did it, I don't know. I like it because I think it makes sense. You typically, when you're going there, you're going to disable Bluetooth, you're going to turn on and off wireless. So it kind of makes sense, I guess. Like I said, overall, my impressions are it seems pretty usable. I could see using it in a day-to-day environment. As far as trying to teach somebody on how to get to something, I think it's just the same as using Windows 10. If you tell them, just click on the start button and click on all apps. So if you're trying to tell someone how to get to a certain application, I don't think it'd be terrible, especially with the search function built in. As far as an administration standpoint, it still joins to your domain just fine. It still does everything that we have expected our OSs to do in previous environments. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a change for that many people. It does still offer dark mode for those of us that like that. And I think overall it's a pretty decent setup. Your mileage might vary on it, but I definitely think that it's something that isn't terrible, because I was expecting it to be questionable since we've been going yo-yoing every time we switch OSs. Drop a comment. What do you think? Do you think this looks like it would be something you would actually mind using? We'll find out in October if you go ahead and upgrade then, or if it's after that. Drop a comment. Do you like this OS? What can they improve? All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and you have a wonderful day. My name is Brian, and if you have any other suggestions, comments, or suggested videos, feel free to drop it in the comments. Thank you.